Anyway, hopefully a couple other people show up. I know Jonathan hasn't taken the test yet. Morgan, she's dropped. She's okay. Jonathan and one other. I didn't want to take that test. I wanted to give you all back today, but I thought Jonathan and Savannah could make it yesterday, but then the weather came in, and that may have made a difference. Uh, but Monica, did you get any snow out where you live? When I left Claypool Hill, we had nothing. I had no idea Bluefield would be. I just know the county schools were closed because of strike. Now we had a lot of rain, and during late schedule, I didn't even know that. Of course, I come in about 12 anyway on Wednesday, so it don't matter if I'm late or not. I've been here, but I was totally surprised when I got up here and saw 2 or 3 inches and piles of snow all over campus and beside the roads. Surprised. Well, that kind of wet snow, though, it had to be slick that night. Anybody was out. Tuesday night would have been a slick night up here. So that's funny how, well, we're not getting hit like some of the rest of the country. Okay, so we were on chapter 5 on job order. We've got to proceed to chapter 6, which is process. I'm going to look at a few solutions with you today on job order. Not going to take a lot of time on them because they repeat themselves, and we went over some the other day. So anyway, job order is chapter 5. We had a.
Oh, I've already got these.
You got these too?
Yeah, I've got these.
Supposed to have 7 here, Bill. But you see, I'm doing live stream.
I've done give these extra credit. They're going to double dip, see.
Cole should be here in a minute. Jonathan, I'll tell them. They go with 2 then.
Yeah, about the Clover Club, you see. Down over top of the rail yard. Be down there. I'll have a sign-in sheet for them, and I'll let you know who comes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Waiting on it and try to go.
Did you see Paris' birthday cake downstairs? It's $500.
Look in the secretary's office on the counter.
Yeah.
Her birthday the same day. She's 29.
Yeah, she's 29. Paris is $500. He looks good for $500, don't he?
Looks great.
All right, Paris.
Hey, Bill, you're okay. How long have you been putting coffee down in the nails? I've been. Days I ran out of coffee. I ran over and got some.
Yeah. It'll be in there every day.
Well, that's a nice thing. All right, so he's already caught you all somewhere. Where did he catch you at before?
Class. Well, me, class. Well, both of us.
Mm-hmm. Long as Cole usually run together. Neither won 6 last night. Okay, so let's look at, I guess I've started live streaming here. We'll look at a few solutions. Now, chapter 5, if you have any questions, please ask. It's just materials, labor, and overhead. It's a predetermined overhead rate. It's a journal entry for job order. And I think you're going to be okay with that. All right. Monique, the last one we covered, I think, was 20, right? Number 20. We did cover number 20. Now, I gave you some more homework, but so many of these are identical that I give you number 24 for homework. Okay. So I'm on the right. All right, country products manufacturers quick racks. Pine stock is introduced in Department 1, blah, blah. Then 1 and 2, completed racks are stained and packaged. All right, the company's predetermined overhead rates were computed using the following info. Your budgeted expected overhead, expected direct labor hours, and expected machine hours. So Sioux Powers contracted Country Products to produce 500 quilt racks. Then during July, Country Products produced 346,000 of raw materials purchased, including all the teak. There were 285 direct labor hours at a rate of 11. There's 2,400 machine hours. So they give you all the details. So what was the predetermined overhead rates for departments 1 and 2? All right. Department 1, what did they use, Monique? Direct labor hours, or did they use machine hours? So what did you do? Just divide 465 by 30? And then what did Department 2 do? So you divided 380 by 22,000. All right. So you're getting the hang of this, that it's not hard if you read what they're doing. And all these problems are based about the same thing. Definitely not a need to do all the problems. But if we answered A for number 24, machine hours divided into expected, budget expected, same thing, and labor hours, we get 15 and a half and 1730. Okay. And then if we move on to number 2, prepare journal entries for the July transactions. I'm not going to pick on anybody, but if you look at B part, that's a whole lot of journal entries. It's every journal entry I told you that we would have in cost accounting or manufacturing accounting. Buy materials. All right. Issue materials. And for job 462 and for other jobs. All right. This looks like it would be labor at $11 an hour, right? Okay, for job 462 and other jobs. All right, now here is your factory overhead, $15.50 an hour, which we calculate up here. All right, so debit working process and credit factory overhead. All right, now these items, sounds to me like this would have probably been, what is the $18 an hour? What's that 18 represent? You have to read the problem. What does it represent, Clayton?
$18 per direct labor hour. That's all I see.
Is that what that was? All right. So we're putting labor into work in process. What was this $11 up here for? What was that for?
That was for Department 1.
One was for Department 2. Gotcha. All right, so we're putting in direct labor. Now we're putting overhead in again. That's at 1730 we calculated. All right, then we do what with them? Send them to finished goods, and we sell them. Takes 2 entries when we sell something. Debit account receivable, credit sales. All right, Monique, you feel pretty good about that problem? Then that will be easy for you on the test, those type entries. Now let's look at C part though. What were the cost and selling price per unit of job 462? Well, if we know what we got in it, 27,427. What it says, cost of goods sold right here, right? That's our cost. And we sold 500 units. So we sold them for $54.85 a piece. No, that's what we had in them. We're gonna sell them for $65.82 a piece. All right, that's selling price per unit. We sold a bunch of units up here, didn't we? Raw materials, 19,000. I don't know what that question was. C part. I'm worried about part A and B. D, I don't know what they're asking here without reading it. Total raw materials issued, total units, 500 plus 20,000. Raw materials cost per unit, 1659. Total cost per unit, 3344. Selling price, you want to mark it up, I guess 20%, or you're going to sell them for $40.13. So if we have sales without ERA, sales with ERA, total savings. So read that and see if it makes sense to you. All right, A and B is what I'm worried about on that problem. I'm worried about the journal entries. So do review 24 before the next test. Now, what was the next problem, Monique? I've got 29 checked. Is that correct? You had 27? I didn't mark that for some reason, but that's okay. Cost control writing. Now, I'm not going to have you write on a test either. This container company makes steel storage containers for chemical products. The company uses a job order cost system. One of the firm's product is a 5-gallon drum. Now, the company made these drums on 4 separate occasions. Assume you are the company's controller. Write a memo to management describing any problem that you perceive in the data presented and the steps that should be taken to correct it. Now, if you were looking at this, job number 2111, quantity, the bid price was 190 and the budgeted cost 120. Then you go on down to March the 13th, bid price, cost. All right. One problem I see right away, you got to have a price per unit. It makes more sense if I see a per unit. So just let me show you number 27. You'll have a different version. Each student will have a different answer, but the memo should address the following. Budgeted cost is far below each job's actual cost. If you look at the budgeted cost, on the first one, 420, 120, but you went 145. Yeah, that's going to be a concern if your actual cost is much more than your verbal budget cost on all 4 occasions, which indicates that the company is not using past job performance as a basis, all right, or increasing the bid price. By using historical information to adjust operations, the company is accepting marginal jobs. Although each job generated a positive gross margin, the actual gross margin is only a fraction of the budgeted gross margin. So your actual is more than your budget. You got a problem there. And you still probably should break it down into cost per unit. Okay, now, Monique, did you have number 29? Nope. What's the next one?
36.
30 what?
36.
Yeah, I've got that one marked. That's just journal entries again. Clayton, did you by any chance have any chance to get any of these journal entries? Monique, I'm assuming you got that one. Okay. Monique, you remind me of that one student that Mr. Sneed said he had, or Dr. Sneed. Are you in his class? Which one? Well, he said he had 20 students one day and only one had homework. Were you the one that had the homework? It might have been in statistics, I don't know. But I don't know some of your old schedules. But I've always said, Clayton, you don't work, right? You don't have 4 or 5 little kids, right?
No.
You don't have a nagging wife. All right. You got me. You ought to be taking 30 credits and make straight A. Always have a couple students Clayton. Anyway, remember this one little woman at community college. I've got enough here in principals now. I've got one that works 40 hours a week. She's taking 18 credits. 2 kids. Handful. This little lady that drove probably an hour and a half to get to Kings. She got all these degrees. She was a full-time cook in an elementary school, and her husband was down in Kings. Never missed a night. On snowy nights, she made it an hour and a half. And she got her accounting degree, her management degree, started working on her computer degree, so forth. But anyway, I ran into a lady 2 weeks ago. I had her in Metro County. She dropped it. No, she wasn't. She didn't get an A on the first day. She dropped it. She had a high B and she dropped it. And she took it over and got an A the next time. But she was a perfectionist. I don't believe you should have to be a perfectionist. She had a B, she could have probably pulled it up to an A. But she's going overboard that she has to have straight A's, nothing else will work. That's overboard. All right, all I am saying to anybody in class, that's Clayton and Monique, and anybody not here, Jonathan works, he's taking a lot of hours. He's got a nagging girlfriend, nor a wife. I don't know if she nags or not. Jonathan, you probably heard that. Anyhow, we all could probably do more. Back in my college days, I could have studied more. And sometimes I studied all I could for the accounting class. Now let's look at these journal entries, and I'm just going to show you they're the same. Yeah, Monique, do you have those? All right. We're buying materials, we're putting them into process. We're incurring overhead here. And here we're using applied rate to put it in work in process. All right. Here we're putting more direct material. No, we bought direct materials up here. Manufacturing overhead, various accounts, applied overhead. Now we're issuing materials. Now we're going to finished goods. We're going to accounts receivable, and we're going to cost of goods sold. Now I want you all to please, if you're here in distance, do number 36 and hand it in on Tuesday. Now Monique already has it. And if you're going to live stream on Tuesday, Terry and Hillary and Savannah, email those to me on Tuesday. Well, you got to practice journal entries. I want you to do 30, that was what, 36? I want you to do 36 and 37. So Monique, you and Clayton would have to add on 37. I want those 2 problems on journal entries turned in on Tuesday. You got to practice. Now, it may be that they count some of your next tests. So don't gamble on not turning these in. At the least, it'd be a little bit of a bonus. But at the most, they are homework they must do. All right, number 38. All right, number 38, same thing. Journal entries. All right. Was number 38 for the day, Monique? So, you see, Monique's had a lot of practice. So, you all going to do 36 and 37 to hand in. So I can look at 38 real quick. 37, you're going to draw some T accounts for these jobs. Subsidiary ledgers, that is. Job 75 and 78 and 82. And post to them when you put in materials, labor, and overhead. Now 38, we buy materials. All right. Now we'll record direct buy materials. Now here we're going to record direct labor for jobs, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to record indirect labor for 54,000. All right. You'd have to post a subsidiary ledger to keep up with that. Now when we take out materials, this is indirect materials, this is indirect labor, this is direct materials, and you put them out to the proper jobs. All right, manufacturers overhead, various credits. It could be accumulated depreciation, it could be payables. All right, now work in process and credit factor overhead. That is to apply overhead at a rate of 40 cents per direct labor hour, dollar. 40 cents or 40%? 40 cents per dollar, which is 40%. Then we go to finished goods, and we go to sales. Now, schedule completed goods. All right, B, probably unfinished goods. And there's your actual overhead and your applied. So your applied is 241,120 right here. This entry is applied 241,120. All right, your under applied is 3280. If it's under applied, 3280, then we've got to add that 3280 to your cost of goods sold to give you an adjusted cost of goods sold. All right, that's 3 problems right there with journal entries. And I skimmed over them fast because I only had one person to have those problems. All right. I gave you a bonus, didn't I, on number 45? Monique, I have another problem assigned for today. That's it. We're going to leave this chapter right now, temporary, and we're going to look at see what process costing is. Now, I wanted to hurry to get to process costing so we can compare the 2 chapters, the 2 methods. All right. Let me bring up a PowerPoint on this one. Thing started to open. Where did it go to? There it is. It hides down there somewhere. I have to find him. We got to learn equivalent units in this chapter. Now, Monique, you had managerial, so you've already done this. All right, now our equivalent units of production unit cost and inventory value is determined using weighted average, and then we'll use FIFO. Well, we're going to use a hybrid costing system. Appendix 1, what alternative can be used to calculate equivalent units? And we may not have to fool with that appendix. We may look at that appendix. And we got to look at spoilage. Okay, so we will look at a couple of the appendix. So read those when you're reading this chapter. All right, now, real quickly, job order. Small quantities of distinct products or services, assign cost to a job. Over here is large quantities of homogeneous products, using an averaging technique. Now, Clayton, what is a homogeneous product? Homogeneous? I've been doing it 9 years. It was offered at least 3 or 4 before that by United Way and Bill Goodlaw. Who's that?
That call from HR was actually from Dr. Wallace,
Who's our acting president?
the acting chief now.
Well, that's right, we got chief of staff.
Yes, so I'm drafting an email because when I called, it didn't pick up. So, and there's no voicemail line. So I'm gonna draft an email. I'm gonna copy it.
So we don't know what it's all about.
And I copy pasted the mission of VITA in there. I'm telling him that he wants to know the dates, the times we offer it, if we're still offering it, and what it's about. So, the first part is gonna be our dates, when we have it, and what times, and how we do it, and then.
Make sure you let them know that the students get a real world experience of what they learn in the classroom.
Yeah. I'm gonna add that in there, and then I'm also, putting in there that last year we served 437 clients, and this year we're actually well on our way to exceed that.
I don't know about that.
We've done 140 already.
Okay, Sarah, well, just make sure students
Yeah.
get experience, okay. Hey, you know, and we do students, and we do a couple professors, we do custodians up here, we do all the low income people, and it's a win-win situation. All right, homogeneous means the same. Yep. All right, this is a homogeneous pen. All right, a lot more made just like it, almost like it. Is an average technique. Now, sign cost to the job. We were building that new dorm, that'd be a job. You're building a new stretch of highway, that's a job. You know, on a snowy night, the highway department hires independent contractors a lot of times. So they may count snow removal on one night or one snow as a job. They hire extra contractors. That contractor, his materials is his gas, oil. All right. His overhead is his insurance and so forth on his truck. Direct labor usually is the owner of that truck, or he'll hire a truck driver. He would even treat moving snow as a job. The other night, we got a lot of wind. You'll have a lot of wind up here on Monday night. Go down a big tree I had in my front yard. Now, one fellow stopped by when he saw it and gave me a quote of $500 to saw it up. It's that big. I mean, Lynn, on this little straight twig. He said it good off of moving the root. The root of that tree is as big as the front of this classroom, bottom to top, side to side. That root is that big. When that tree fell over, there was that much root up my front yard toward the road. I don't know how I'll get that root removed, but that is a job. If I hire somebody to do it for $500, that's a job. Okay? And he can worry about his materials, labor, and overhead. Labor may be himself, and his material may just be gasoline for a chainsaw. Okay, job order versus process. If it's a job, we want to know the cost. If it's an item, we want to know the cost. You hear that cost to make a pill is a penny. You have to pay $15 a pill at the drugstore. Where does most of that cost go to, Clayton?
From pills.
Yeah, if a pill is made for a penny, but the time you get it is $15. Where's all that money go to?
I guess the workers, where it's like processed, and then also the bosses that own the company.
No, it's made for a penny. They sell it for, that's the cost right there. They paid the workers. Yeah, the owners will get a profit. It goes for marketing cost. Advertising, they have all these wholesalers and middlemen. They send doctors on cruises to prescribe them. Sometimes you have to be leery of what doctors prescribe you anymore. All right. Production costs divided by the quantity gives you unit cost. That makes sense, don't it? My cost was 100,000. I made 50,000 units, so it must have cost me $2 a unit. These pens probably don't cost much. These, I guess we'll get them downstairs in a box. I wouldn't give over 25%, 25 quarters for that at Walmart myself. All right. You still use a predetermined overhead rate. We got materials requisition. We've got time. Okay, your direct labor. Here again is your cost divided by your quantity, common sense. Now, equivalent units we're going to have to work with. We're going to do this one first. We will get this one next. All right. In weighted average, again in working process, we assume it's 100% complete. And then the ending inventory will have percentage not complete. Now, Monique has done this before. Find out and learn these concepts, units to account for and units accounting for. Remember, those are two different statements. We do have to determine equivalent units. Now we've got cost to account for. And then we've got to account for that cost. All right, let's say we start 200 5,700, but we had beginning 5,000. I don't know where that went to. Right there. Oh. All right. Now, ending work in process. Step 2, units accounted for. We finished and transferred out 203, and we've got left. But the bottom line, the unit you had and the unit you started is 205.7. This is what you've got, and this is what you did with it. What you did with it. You finished and transferred out, and you still have a few left. Compute equivalent units. You have to do that for direct materials and for conversion cost. You begin an inventory, you leave it as it is. Started and completed, we know that's 100%. But ending inventory, they were 80% completed as to conversion cost. Excuse me. That's where Sarah said I'd start sneezing. Excuse me. All right, your cost, direct materials, current and to be accounted for. What's up? So what?
That's not what I said.
Well, did he write you or me one and want to know what it's all
No,
about?
it was, the email was initially sent to Michelle. And Michelle was asking me the questions to put in. I was like, well, her extension's right there. I'll call her. I called, left a message for Jonette, and then Kim called me back and left the voicemail saying it was Dr. Wallace and wanted the information. Mr. Imel said that sounded good to him.
Oh, he read it?
Yeah. And he said that to make sure to CC him and you. Wanted your contact person. I'm gonna attach our flyer to it as well. How are you guys?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you?
Run it. Okey doke. We've had too many deans and too many presidents and too many provosts. I've been here 9 years, and Mr. Imel makes at least 6 deans. So. All right. So anyway, total, direct materials and conversion costs to account for. Now, this is equivalent units divided by equivalent units, that is. Here's your equivalent units. Divided by equivalent units. Trying to find what the equivalent units are. I'm not reading this good. Let's go back. 205,700. All right, so here we go. Divide this by this. Now take your calculator, Clayton, Monique, and divide this by the equivalent units. See if that gives you $1.59. Does. Okay, so you're dividing the cost by the equivalent units, and this is what you're getting. And your total cost, this is for materials, conversion costs for labor and overhead, and that's equal to $4.89. Materials, labor, and overhead is equal to $4.89. Now, here's the most important step. Transfer 203,000 units. That's all your cost, gives us this amount. How much materials is left in that 2,700? That much. And the whole 100 units. And here we got 80% of this 27 times the 330. So we will account for $1,004.91. Now I'm going to work one for you, and then I want you to work one. That's what we're going to practice in the next couple of minutes. These don't make sense unless you practice. All right, we'll get an inventory. All right, ending inventory. We're going to say that you have 50,000 in beginning inventory, 70,000 in ending inventory. We're going to start 300,000. Now, for the weighted average, we only worry about transferred out, and we also worry about ending inventory. Now they said started and finished, but I like transferred out. So, Clayton, if we had 50 in beginning inventory, we started 300, how many do we have to account for? 3? All right. Well, we've got 70 of those left in ending inventory, right? So how many did we transfer out? 280? Now I'm just looking at materials, labor, and overhead being all the same. Now I had 70,000 ending inventory. I'm going to say they were 60% complete. All right, so what is 60% of 70,000? 4,200? So your equivalent units for materials or conversion costs, whichever one I want it to be, is 284.2. Okay, now the way they did it in the book was started and finished. All right. It looks like they started and finished only 230,000 units. That will not work. Okay, it only works with FIFO.
24 or 42,000 instead of 4,200.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That should be 42,000. And that should be 322. Remember, we've got 350 to account for. 50 plus 300. Where are they? We transferred out 80 and we left 70. That's where they are. These two will equal these two. 3 and 50 and 280 and 70 will equal one another, okay? All right. Let me give you beginning inventory. I'm gonna give you for materials and conversion cost on this one. They were 50% complete for materials and 40% complete for conversion cost. All right. Now remember, you don't worry about beginning inventory whatsoever. So see if you can find me the equivalent units for materials and for conversion cost. Okay, I'm doing it a little bit different in the book. I'm putting transferred out, which takes in effect beginning inventory, but they put beginning inventory started and finished. Well, started and finished plus beginning inventory does give you transferred out. All right. So what I'm doing, I'm just taking transferred out plus my ending inventory, and I'll show you it gives you the same answer. All right, how many did I transfer out here, Clayton?
10,000.
No, I transfer out more than that. What do you think, Monique? All right, Clayton, how many do we have? How many do we have left? How many do I have to transfer out? Exactly. All right, Clayton, how much do I have left for materials and ending inventory? 10,000 down 50% is what? Okay, Monique, 10,000 down 40% is? All right, your equivalent units for labor and overhead is 49, and your equivalent unit is 50 for material. Now, I want to show you another way to get this. This is the way the book is showing you. All right, I'm going to leave this at the bottom, and I'm going to put started and finished. I'm going to put beginning inventory. And we know beginning inventory is 5, right? Now, how many did I start and finish? Think about it. How many did I start, Clayton? How many do I have left of those, Clayton? I started 50. I've got how many left? 10. I want to ship these out and start and finish. I ship these. So If I started 50 and I have 10 left, how many did I start and finish? I start 40. Now that's the way your book does it. And it's still going to add up and give you the same answer I gave you, isn't it? Why you was transferred out. Now let's do this part, Monique. All right. Now I started 50. I have 10 left. How many did I start and finish, Monique? Monique, for conversion cost? 40 again, right? So what is 40 plus 4 plus 5? This is the way your book does it. But I found it easier to do it like I showed you. Transfer out and Indian inventory. Don't worry about beginning it off. Now, you're on your own. I'm going to see if you can do one totally on your own. This means 75% complete. All right. Let's see if y'all work that, folks. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what went with my problem. Wow. I don't know if I wiped it clean or what. I don't know what went with my problem. All right. So Let me try to reconstruct that problem. How many was in beginning inventory, folks? And started and ending 6? All right, 6 was, for materials was what completed? And 50. All right, I like transferred out. How many did we transfer out here? How many did we transfer out? How many did we have? How many did we have altogether? Add your beginning inventory plus what we started. Beginning inventory, and how many did we start? So how many do we have? 50. How many did we keep? 6. How many did we transfer out? Right. Now we kept 6. What is 75% of 6? That 4,500? What is 50% of 6? Now this is your equivalent unit, 48.5. Did you get that, Clayton? You did, Monique? And you all got 47 over here? Well, you've learned a little something today, so. All right, I want you to do problem 16 and 17 in this book, chapter. I want you to read this chapter, and I want you to do those couple of problems in this past chapter that is assigned, and that'll be it. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you all on Tuesday. Mr. Imel's pretty much celebrating my birthday. He had a cake downstairs, and Michelle's this Sunday too. I wanted to quit having birthdays. But I guess if you quit having birthdays, you're dead. So maybe I better have some more birthdays.